Hello and welcome back to my channel. Jacob Payton here, and today we talking about Camp Damascus by Chuck Tingle. If you saw my other video where I was talking about what I was reading this month, and you guys know that I was already almost done with it, and this is a book that I had been quite excited for, as Chuck Tingle has been kind of an internet phenomenon since I started really paying attention to publishing as a whole. So it was really interesting to see him achieve, while he was already very successful, almost like, I guess, mainstream success in the way that he got a Big Five publisher and put out a horror novel, which I thought was really cool. And obviously, he probably makes crazy amounts of money on his other things, so I'm sure this was not that much of a big deal for him. But anyway, this book was very fun and it was very exciting. And I think it really shows the fact that even though he does kind of write funny, quirky, erotic books that get memed all the time, the reason he's so popular isn't because of like the covers or the titles. It's because he's a very good writer, and I have not read his other books, but I can only assume from this that they are very well written, because this book was not very long, and as someone that's like a pulp horror fan, you guys know I love short books, and short books can either be really great or really bad, and this was just a really great one. I mean, it was tight pacing, the action was fast, I mean, it hits you right from the beginning. There isn't a lot of preamble. He throws you straight into the middle of this mystery of kind of what happened to the main character, right? I mean, she essentially, she has all these like missing moments of her life, and she doesn't really know why. She just knows that things are feeling weird. Let me read from this. It's kind of a very short in here. It says, "Something is wrong in Neverton, Montana, and that something isn't me. Welcome to a God-fearing community with a heart of gold. Nestled high up in the mountains is Camp Damascus, the self-proclaimed most effective gay conversion camp in the country. Here a life free from sin awaits, but the secret behind that success is anything but holy." So yeah, I mean, it's already creepy right from the beginning. The main character lives in this town in Montana that is essentially run by this Christian commune or this Christian cult. And one of the big money makers for this cult is the fact that they run the best gay conversion camp in the country. Something the main character doesn't really think about until she starts to remember the fact that she was at the camp herself. This comes out very early in the book, so that is not a major spoiler. Right from the beginning, her parents are kind of trying to force her into this relationship with someone that was kind of her friend. And you can see that the church and the community as a whole are really behind trying to pair their young people off in a very creepy way. And right from the beginning, we know that she is not into it. She can't put her finger on why, but it's kind of obvious reading the book later. But she knows for the fact that for whatever reason, she does not think about him or really any guys in that way. And when she does develop feelings, or maybe not feelings of love, but feelings of perhaps lust for a girl, that girl ends up dying horribly, and she sees a demonic figure with a name tag kill them. And as someone that reads a lot of books and watches a lot of horror movies, and reads a lot of like exorcism books and stuff, the name, I think it was Pocket. Anyway, it was a name that gets thrown around a lot because, these are demonic names that I think are in like the Goita. Anyway, I'm pronouncing it wrong. But anyway, it comes up a lot, especially in horror, because horror pulls from a lot of folklore. But so that we know immediately this is going to be a book about demons, and the kind of twist that does come out, and this is a minor spoiler, but not a major spoiler, because once again, she does discover this pretty early on in the book, is that the reason this conversion camp is so successful is the fact that they are using demonic forces, and I'm not going to explain how. You got to read the book to figure that out for yourself, but they're using demonic forces to keep these campers straight, even if they die in the process, right? Because this is very much one of those cults where the end justifies the means. And I thought that was really interesting. I thought this book was a great take on kind of the horrors that can be done by, organized religion when it's taken to extremes. And also just, I thought it was really fun too, the way that Chuck Tingle uses demons in this book. It was very new, it was very original. They aren't done in a super spiritual way. And what I mean by that is the way he describes them, and even the way he describes possession happening in this book, it makes it seem very alien. and almost like insect-like. So I got real like cosmic horror vibes reading that, and I thought this was a lot of fun. I love, like, I think it's perhaps one of my most favorite parts of the book is when we kind of figure out how the church is keeping these demons, or how this cult is keeping these demons, and kind of like what that looks like and what that possibly means, because it was so interesting that, I'll be honest, I would love to see him explore that more, and maybe like later horror books, if he does something the way that like King does, if he doesn't do it as direct sequel, but you know how like Stephen King and other horror authors, they kind of build up a mythos in their horror books, even if they're standalone, and then it kind of gets hinted at or talked about in other books. A good example of that is how Holly Dabney is, I think that book just came out, Holly, I haven't read it, but I've seen it all over the internet, and Holly Dabney was someone that was in The Outsiders, and I think she was in several other books that kind of a mixture of both true crime and also like just some straight up horror books where occult and paranormal stuff is happening. And I would love to see Chuck Tingle do that. I really hope this wasn't a one and done situation, because this was a lot of fun. And I think people will really enjoy this book. I've seen some really good reviews for it online, and this is me giving another really good review for it, because I thought this, like I said, I thought this book was a lot of fun. It was a short, fast read. I love the fact that, like I said, it throws you right in the action. It was a new and different take on what is a very familiar type of monster, I think, for horror books. And also some very original characters that, you know, while I don't identify that way, but I did grow up in a very small church community. Mine was not extreme in any way, shape, or form. It was just more like regular Southern Baptist. But that being said, that's extreme probably for a lot of other people, and I understand living in towns where everything revolves around the church. And so these characters for me were very real and very relatable. Now that being said, they were way better behaved as teenagers than I think any of us Baptist kids were by the time we hit 13 and 14 in our small towns. But, you know, that's probably different for everyone. That mileage may vary. But yeah, I enjoyed this book a lot. If you've read this book and you liked it, didn't like it, you know, let me know in the comments below. If you know of any other like short, tightly paced like horror books like this, definitely let me know. I'm always looking to review like newer horror books as much as I do like old books. I know like some people only read the new stuff, and that's fine. I'm trying to get better at juggling both myself. And also, just if there's any other books or any other stuff, you know, down the pipeline that you think I might be interested in, always let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.